Oh, geez. Terrifying. Well, everybody, we are a little bit behind time, and this time I'm not going to run up and run away. We're just going to go ahead and jump to the real reveal, whatever it is. So please, Crappy, take us on over to... Wait. I need to change something. Changing. Nope, I already changed it. Crappy, take us over. Go. Ah! The JPEG artifacting. It's going to get you. You never want that to happen. You know what else you don't want to get you? Yeah, that's right. It's Jeff. Come on in, Jeff. Come on in and share your nightmares with the world. Oh, hello there, Jeff.
Hello.
Yeah, so I think everybody is going to be terrified in just a little bit.
With good reason.
Okay. What do we have?
Okay, it is a Spanish DOS game. It's a beat 'em up. It is called Horm, La Leyenda de un Insecto.
That sounds like the legend of an insect.
Legend of an insect.
Okay, well, luckily the players will have 1 hour to discover what this legend is. Could it be that bugs are awesome? Could it be just a bug's life,
Yes.
but different?
And I also sent you some lore in a DM.
Don't worry. I have to capture stuff right now, but I will get to that later.
All right.
Yeah. So
this game,
go ahead.
while you're getting everything set up, was made by Pablo Romero Casas in 1995-ish for a contest that PC World magazine was having. And so it was eventually, I guess you could call it published. It was distributed on a disc along with all the other competitors. So it got wider distribution than a single kiosk in Brazil, but it did take until about 2019 for this game to be discovered again.
2019. Oh, I love when games manage to be found again. Honestly, there are a lot of games that have been lost to time, and I always celebrate when we find one of those games.
It actually came up because somebody asked him at a talk about this game, and he said, "Oh yeah, I still have it."
Gotcha. Well, here we go. I see all 4 players. We've got Darkness, Jumi Wanderer, PG10, and Ogvision who are going to be playing today. And I'll check to see if they're ready to roll, because I am. Yeah, what about you, Jeff? Are you ready?
I am ready for some action.
Why do you beep every single time you push a button?
Oh, let me turn that off.
Beep. Beep. Oh, I mean, I like to beep. I beep sometimes in my own home. Yeah, Justin just left home for a few hours, by the way. Probably a good idea, because I might just beep. Beep, 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 beep. Well, let me
I'm
see.
back on voice activity instead of push to talk.
Sweet.
So you can hear me okay?
Why do we have Deer and the Antelope home on the range? Yeah, I hear you great, Jeff.
Okay, great. Well, public domain music. There are also not public domain music, but what really is the difference?
Yeah, by the way, Darkness does have multiple underscores, and just the way that OBS is set up in order to have names look like they're in the right place, those underscores don't appear, so there are like 3 of them or something. Yeah, but all of the players are ready. Yes, there are 3 underscores there, so just imagine 3 underscores after Darkness and before 0. Everybody, I need you to spam emotes, but what would be good emotes for chat to spam?
Ants, grasshoppers, dung beetles, dung
Okay, Poop,
beetles.
get spamming because the countdown is happening right now. I will let you know a little more of the lore once we have begun, and my ears, my everything is already hurting.
All the characters' choices are just different looks. They don't have any different features, so I let the players choose which ones they want. I like the gray one.
Okay, I'm glad that we are into Jimmy Crack Corn territory here. Yeah. Well, honestly, I don't care either. But yeah, all of the players are starting the game. We're on a street, ladybugs, other bugs, lots of bugs.
There will be lots of bugs. So this is kind of interesting. There weren't a ton of beat 'em ups for DOS, and this is actually really incredible for a game that was made by one person in 1995. The artwork is a little goofy, little childlike, but I love it.
I love the MIDI music here. I love the visuals so far. I love, it's not super fast, honestly. That doesn't matter though. We're not getting lore. Not lag. We're not getting lag, and that's really what matters here.
Yeah, the pacing of the game is one of its major problems. So it's very slow, which is not great for a beat 'em up. You have to spend a while sitting on these screens, fighting all the bugs, and then when you hit them, they go off the edge of the screen, and then you have to wait for them to walk back on. So, that's actually going to be part of the strategy here. And I explained it generally to the players that there are these different ways that you can attack. There's a punch, there's kicks, you can use the matchstick. What I didn't specifically tell them, and they're going to discover, is that these attacks all do different amounts of damage.
Okay. I can believe it, and yeah, figuring out which one is the best would be the most helpful.
Yeah, and so what the ideal one is either using the matchstick or to grab the enemy and then toss them.
Yeah, the toss, well, it gets them away from you. And if it deals a decent amount of damage, then that is very helpful as well. Now, I see that we do have a number of lives at the top as well as a number of credits. Is that when the credits are gone, it's game over, back to the beginning?
Yes, we have a system set up to allow them to do to resume from the level they left off on. It appears that though one of our players is on the wrong level. Looks like Darkness is on the road level.
Well, in that case, wait, is there a level select in the game?
Yeah, so that's how we're allowing them to resume after game overs, is they type in the level number when they run the game. So I'd say probably a good idea to go and get that sorted out. Well, with that said, we have 4 players here: Darkness, Jumi Wander, Peachy Chan, and Ogvision playing. Our refs for this match, though, are Bugshy, Hormy Shade 12, Reverend Buggy, Lady Bugford, and Tavant. Oh my gosh. It hurts to read these names. But yeah, those 5 refs are helping me keep track of
progress here and make sure that everything is fair and well balanced for the players. So thank you so much for all of the help that y'all are giving us. Now, with that said, Jeff actually sent quite a bit of lore because we had the lore scrolling in Spanish, but didn't have time to necessarily go through all of it. So I can go ahead and read the translation if y'all want. Let me go ahead.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get my grandpa voice ready here. Once upon a time, there was an ant that lived in the city. All the insects feared her. She was famous for her strength and courage. The anthill to which it belonged could be safe as long as our ant remained in the place. The anthill was located in the Perez garden, and next to the hundreds of vehicles passed through the house every day, contaminating the surroundings. Oh no! Our aunt was more attracted to the country life. I preferred calm from the countryside to the pollution and noise of the city. The city, I said city, okay. So have a good day. Decided that it was time to escape. He grabbed his luggage and headed to Prairie. Everybody asked him to stay, not to defend them, but because he had become a special character in the anthill, the decision was made. When he arrived at the Prairie, he didn't know anyone, but it didn't take him long in meeting ants from nearby populations. However, he did not feel comfortable living in another anthill. So although without losing relationships, he began to live independently. Time passed, and one day an old colleague from the city arrived. He seemed tired. Indeed, he traveled from the long distance that separated field and city as quickly as possible. Soon, you must return to the city to help us. There's been an invasion of mice, and we can't handle them. They try to take over the territory of the ants. They're accompanied by a group of traitor insects. Since there was no time for organization, they chose the three best in aid of the city's anthill. The adventure begins. So there you go.
That is great lore. Totally unnecessary for this beat 'em up game, but great nonetheless.
Yeah. I mean, you say unnecessary, but games need... whatever. Every story is technically unneeded. Why have books? Huh?
Well, no, I mean, this particular story just doesn't add a whole lot to it, right? It's just the classic, okay, you need to go out and fight some enemies to protect our people.
Yeah, that's fair. Basically, the story was like, you lived in the city sucked, you moved to the country, and then the city's like, we need you. So you go help. Okay. Wolf, I know that I said why have books. I literally got a master's in English, and I love my books, and if anybody tries to take my books away, I will fight. I will kick. Ooh, Peachy-chan getting a lot of strange lag.
So speaking of kicking,
yeah,
there are multiple different kicks in this game. One of the weird things is when you see the high kick, like you're seeing Darkness do repeatedly.
Yeah.
You have to do both up and down at the same and the punch button at the same time to get that, which makes this impossible to use on controllers back in the day. The game doesn't have any native joystick support anyway, but these days you have controllers with so many buttons, you can figure stuff out. But it's just kind of a weird thing, but that's what you had to do to make something like this work in DOS.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you didn't actually have to do that. You could have just pulled for other keys, but it feels fighting game-like.
I mean, it looks fighting game-like. We're fighting. This music is so dramatic, though. Oh my gosh. It almost sounds like Luke's theme in Star Wars for a little while, but then it changes up.
Yeah, there's things that are like kind of like Star Wars. It has kind of like Little Brown Jug. It has Yankee Doodle Dandy at some point during like the level transition screen.
I just love that, like, Star Wars Luke's theme and Little Brown Jug can exist in the same realm of, like, seriousness, you know?
So, like, I could understand, okay, well, this is just public domain music. You just pull a MIDI file and there you go. Well, these are actually not MIDI files, but they're CMF Sound Blaster files. But anyway, I could imagine just pulling public domain things, but I don't think Star Wars is public domain.
Have you heard how many games use freaking Looney Tunes sound effects? How many games in the 90s that were officially released and sold in the States used sound effects from the 90s? I would say that, like, the standard between what is quote-unquote public domain and acceptable for use these days is very different from how it was back when Horm came out.
Sure. I assume it was whatever CMF files are available on the local BBS to download.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And also, like, I have to wonder, even if this game did come out made by one guy, did he, like, was this sold anywhere, or was it just freeware that was shared between people?
No, it was made for this contest, so it was distributed in a magazine. It had a registration fee, like a shareware thing. You could send him money. I don't know if anybody did that or not.
I hope so. Come on, look at this. This is beautiful. Oh, the bugs are so fat. They are fatty bugs.
Yeah. They're actually, you know, quite a few different bugs, and they all have different behaviors, which is pretty cool. They use basically the same attacks, but the ladybugs can come rushing in from off the side of the screen. The dung beetles can jump on you.
Okay.
The ones that I found the most tricky were, I'm not sure, like the green beetles, or sometimes they're blue. Those ones, I just had a really hard time getting the timing right for them. But one thing that's kind of neat, I thought, about the mechanic is the way that you pick up enemies is you just run into them either vertically or diagonally when they are not moving. So there's not a button push to do that. Once you have them picked up, you push buttons to do different attacks to them. I'm not sure I've seen that before, where you pick up an enemy just running into it in a beat-em-up game.
I've seen a few. I'm trying to remember. Oh my gosh, if Franco did that. I've seen a few. Or there's the whole platformer / beat 'em up game on Genesis, where generally to pick up enemies, all you do is walk into them. Chaos is saying Batman Returns for Super Nintendo. Not that that's a good game per se, but yeah.
Sure.
That's an example.
Yeah. And some of the... So, like, I don't play a lot of beat-em-up games, so, you know, I don't really know all the conventions for these things, but maybe it's not that unusual. But the other thing is, you know, there's this matchstick in the game, and there's some moves that you can't be holding the matchstick in order to do. So you might actually want to just put it down. They need to figure out which thing they prioritize. The matchstick doesn't really add all that much range. It does do more damage. In fact, it's hard for me to tell if it adds any range at all compared to the normal punch or kick.
Gotcha. By the way, Chad is correcting me and saying Batman Returns for Super Nintendo is pretty good. I apologize. I was thinking Batman Forever. I don't
Yes.
know. Whatever.
Big difference.
Hasta que un dia. It's true.
So the life and continue situation is this: you get 3 lives to start and 2 continues. You get an extra life every 10,000 points, but you lose all your points when you do a continue.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the limited continues means just that. When you are out of continues, you game over and you have to go back to the start of the game. That wouldn't be ideal for a match because, my worry is that people would get like half an hour into the match, game over, and then they'd say, well, there's no way I'm catching up again.
Yeah,
this
beat 'em
far
ups
into the
usually
match.
take a while to get through screens, yeah.
Yeah, this game's, really slow. Like, just the first level will take 10 minutes or so. No matter how fast you try and do it, it's just a slow game. So what we did about that is there's essentially a level select when you boot up the game.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
give it a command line parameter, and it'll start you in the right place. It does cause some weirdnesses. So, like, sometimes when you boot up the game after doing that, you won't have any hit points,
Okay.
and you'll immediately lose a life. That's fine. They're getting to not have to start from the beginning of the game, so that seems like a fair trade.
Yeah, I think so as well. And honestly, that's something that has been a concern in certain games before. That the match is decided 20 or 30 minutes into it, just because if you get a game over, you're not getting back. It's a bit of a slog. Having the level select available for them definitely helps make that a little less of a possibility. Now, with that said, how many levels are there?
There are 7 levels, and the last one is basically just a boss rush, though. Some of the levels have bosses at the end of them, and some of them don't. So hopefully we'll get to see some boss battles today.
I presume now that we're starting to get into the city, we're probably going to start seeing boss battles. This is where all the mice have come in order to get rid of all the bugs. Why are the bugs fighting bugs, though? Come on.
Well, because those are the invaders.
Actually, yeah.
I mean, they're not the real bad guys, right? The real bad guys are the bosses.
I don't know in Spanish what ant is. I know in Portuguese it's formiga, and it could possibly be orm or hormiga in Spanish, which would make sense because all of the bugs that you play as are ants.
Yeah, that's the premise of the lore, is that you are the hero, but you went to recruit other bugs to help you from nearby ant colonies.
Yeah.
This game actually has co-op 2-player mode, local co-op, which is kind of cool, but there's friendly fire in it, so it's kind of a mess. I haven't tried it with anybody, but the thing that's really kind of odd about this is that when you hit a bug, their body flies into the other bugs and then knocks them down, but it doesn't cause any damage to them. So it might look like you're taking care of all 5 enemies at once by just knocking a whole stack of them, but in fact, no, you're only doing damage to 1. This might not be that clear to them at this point. It will become crystal clear when they get to a boss and you see a damage bar on the screen.
What is this messed up version of Old Folks at Home? Oh my gosh. Or Old Kentucky Home, sorry. This is a nightmare.
You know what? These were... So this is a Turbo Pascal game, and for whatever reason, a lot of games back then decided to use CMF files. So they didn't have the full range of .mid files that were available. They just sort of used whatever was out there and sequenced. I'm not entirely sure why. I mean, the CMF library was available and frequently used in these games, but I don't know what's wrong with just a standard MIDI file. I think they sound just fine.
Okay.
I mean, you get like some additional instrument selections by taking advantage of the Sound Blaster hardware, but I mean, you're not. If it were up to me, I would prioritize having different choices of music over having a nicer version of Little Brown Jug.
Like, yeah, but that requires creativity. And simply put, some people are better at certain aspects than others. Maybe you're better at drawing bugs than making music.
I mean, that's fair. I'm just saying if you're going to be...
I'm sorry, I saw the mouse on Peachy Chan's screen, and I gotta talk about this right now.
Yeah,
because
okay.
he is a tubster.
So that's a boss, and yes, I am so glad we got to him.
I'm so glad that it appears that we have a boss during Old Kentucky Home. And that the boss is so complicated that all you do is you stand against the wall and whack it with the matchstick.
No, that's not all you do.
That's all you do!
You will sit. I mean, it's slow, but what's going to happen is there are going to be enemies coming from other parts of the screen, and you have to go deal with them. It's just, that's like 3 minutes away. Oh. Okay, there we go. We got some of them.
Ah, yeah. Well,
I mean, it's interesting, this idea of like, while you have a boss on the screen, you don't just deal with the boss and some initial enemies. They're like continual waves coming at you.
Yeah, there aren't a whole lot of beat-em-ups that do that, but I've seen it on occasion. It's just usually there's a limit to the number of enemies that spawn, so that once you've dealt with all that crap, you can actually take the boss down. But no, Peachy Chan's got a bug on the left. Watch out! Very annoying looking cockroach thingy. Oh my gosh, this mouse. It doesn't even have a mouse tail though. It's got like a stubby butt.
I mean, some mice do, right?
Yeah, if their tail gets cut off, 3 blind mice have a very bad time, I gotta be honest.
Oh, we have 2 people at a mouse now. This is very exciting.
Now, I do have to say, everybody watching, the stakes are pretty high for this match. 2 players will get eliminated after this. That means that 2 players will move on. And yeah, they got Jeffed. You never know what kind of nightmare is showing up when Jeff shows up, and apparently it's bug beat 'em up this time. Which, honestly, this game looks fairly playable.
Mice. I think the players might have some of those mice in their nightmares. Those red eyes.
Yeah, the eyes bulge when you hit the mice, I guess. Okay, Peachy Chan continuing, very nice.
More and more mice.
Yeah, if they take this long to kill, oh my gosh. But then again, you're an ant fighting a mouse. Of course it's gonna take a while. It's not immediate, hey, congratulations, you saved the city. No, it's a freaking giant mouse.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen an ant beat up a mouse before? No.
No, and typically when I see ants attack, they do it in very large numbers. I don't see just like a solo ant, even an army ant, just going at like something much, much larger than he is with. And like the gray ant doesn't, not even a red ant with like possible poison or anything, just an ordinary guy, just a little guy.
Just a little guy. I also enjoy that the wasps don't sting you, they punch you. And that it's actually pretty dangerous. Oh, PG-chan, good. I like that when you respawn, it does knock back all of the enemies. I think PG-chan is through the mouse fight. Very nice.
Vision very close behind.
Oh, look at those plugs in the background. You can tell this wasn't made in the US. Those are not the types of power outlets we would use.
Yeah, it's a giveaway.
I mean, there are a few other giveaways, but
I haven't figured it out from Old Spanish by this point.
Oh, come on! There's a lot of Spanish in the U.S. It could have been somebody here.
I suppose that's true. I don't know too many games that were marketed in the U.S. that only came in Spanish versions.
Yeah, I don't know of any either.
I would love to know if that was a thing.
I
mean, like if I was
a
kid and I was making a game and my native language was not English and I was making a game for fun, sure, go ahead and use whatever language you want.
Now, one thing, sort of just a thought, because we see both Darkness and Jumi fighting the mouse, it actually seems like you might be able to get more damage on the mouse, or at least faster, if you don't knock it down, but knocking it down is much safer. It's just, if I had extra continues to go off of, I probably would be, being riskier. I wouldn't knock down the mouse as much as I could handle. But that said, Darkness, that is a game over. Just, you can restart the level that you were on. That is fine. Darkness is going to have to restart the game in order to do that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the mouse really does heavy damage to you. So, you want to take this fight as safely as possible. It's frustrating when you're in a race and the fight is so slow and you just want to get it over with. And you're like, man, I'm sure everybody's done with this fight already. I'm way behind. Then if you mess up right at the end of this level, you have to do the whole thing again and it's a little slow.
Oh, there's so many sharp sounds in this game. So, yeah, Darkness asked if they can use the Hormy plus the number, and I said yes. So right. Let's see if Darkness does that.
Yes. Appears that Darkness is now back at the beginning of the level, the correct level. So,
isn't level 3 the one with the mouse, or is it level 2?
Level 2 has the mouse, and when you finish level 2, you go into the one with the red tiles, the red and gray tiles on
gotcha.
Level 3.
Okay, so level 2 has 2 areas, then the street and then the mouse.
Yeah, the mouse is kind of on a, sidewalk or street or something.
Okay, gotcha.
There's actually, right before it takes you into the level, there's like a little tiny map representing each level. So you can actually sort of see that there's 2 distinct areas to it. It's kind of a nice touch.
If I'm not mistaken, Jumi is going to move on to the next level, but quit the... I was going to wager that Jumi would quit the game and come back and use the level select code in order to have 2 credits going into this level.
That is a really good idea, but maybe he wants to just explore the level a little bit first.
Not necessarily a bad idea. Yeah, there's a little meta strat that you can use in Kusogrand8 sometimes, and that's one of the small things that can prolong your gameplay. Simply put, if you are able to restart a level with no consequences and you get all of your credits and lives back, and it's a very low load time, I'd say it's almost always worth doing. I would do that.
Yeah, I think particularly in this game because you want to keep those 2 continues as long as you can, because when you game over, it's
it's punishing.
It is punishing. Yeah.
I don't want the little brown jug anymore. I want normal size jug. Normal size jug, please.
Did you know that Little Brown Jug has lyrics to it?
Yeah. I love you, you love me, little brown jug, how I love thee. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
but
there's more. I'm gonna swap over to somebody else's sound, by the way, because I want to see what audio is in level 3.
So, like, I knew that there was this 40s cartoon that was like the Little Brown Jug, and it has a version of the song. I didn't realize that all of the lyrics were completely rewritten for that song. It's like a sing-along thing with a bouncing ball for kids.
Okay.
It's still about being an alcoholic, but it's just a little more upbeat.
Yeah, that's fair. There are a lot of songs from the 1800s that, like, the lyrics we have now are not the lyrics that they used to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Times have changed a little bit. Oh my gosh. Why is it the slowest version of Home on the Range? I am absolutely bored. Okay, we're going back to Little Brown Jug.
So some of these songs would have been less obviously well known to somebody in Spain at the time. I mean, I think like the Star Wars theme, everybody's going to know that. But like, I don't know how many people would associate like Home on the Range, which is kind of an American or British. I think it's American, but like a lot of these are. I think Little Brown Jug is British in origin too. Like I have no idea how well known they were there. But I found a post on a forum where somebody was referring to there being Yankee Doodle Dandy in the song, but didn't call it by that. He says something to the effect of, I'm not an American, so this is the song Give Me Another Beer by the Inhumans.
Yeah, I was gonna do a quick fact check on you when it came to Little Brown Jug, because that's Philadelphia in 1869.
That is American. Okay.
It is, yeah, very much American. I mean, you're sure it's about alcohol, but that only applies when it comes to video games. If there's alcohol in a video game, it's probably from the UK.
That's probably true. What I love is we're probably not going to see the conclusion of this game because it's longer than an hour. But when you finish and you win, it reminds you that violence is in a video game. You shouldn't use it on the streets.
Yeah.
And then when you exit, it says something in Spanish about you've left this fiction. Just to remind you that the ant world is not our own.
I'm glad. Honestly, if I were a kid and I played this, I might have nightmares and think this was real. And I need the explanation, but I couldn't read Spanish when I was a kid. Okay, I'd need somebody to translate for me, otherwise it would be nightmares for days living in the ant world. Now, then again, I played Sim Ant, which I didn't know that was real. That. I thought it was real ants I was controlling. I don't know if it was any
good or not, but I loved it.
I won Sim Ant. Okay.
Yeah, I won too. It was pretty easy.
Yeah, you took over the house? It's not really subtle what you're supposed to do in the game. It's just most people weren't able to figure it out because they played it as kids.
Oh.
Oh, spoilers, let me tell you how to play, like, what the goal of the game is. Brr. It's from the 90s, come on.
Is it really a game, though?
Yes, it is. There's a win condition, it's a game. The win condition is take over the house.
Maxis like to label its products as interactive software or software toys or that sort of thing. I guess there was a win condition compared to like SimCity or SimEarth, but
then again, some SimCity scenarios had win conditions. Yeah, I don't know about SimEarth though. I never played SimEarth. I was like, no, I want to play SimAnt. I want to be an ant.
I liked SimEarth a lot too, but I think that was a lot of just the novelty of it.
The
epicness of its scope that I only saw in games like Civilization, where like you control humanity from its very beginning until it goes to Alpha Centauri.
Interesting. I need to give it a shot sometime. Like I know that it's one of the classic Maxis games that I just never had a chance to play. Probably because I was playing SimAnt.
Teaser just came out for Civilization 7.
Yeah, I don't care.
Well, I do. I might
I
check
played
it out.
some Civ 6 and it was like, okay, it's like Civ 5 with a new number.
That was kind of my take on it. They ended up with like 150 DLCs for Civ 6. So
I know.
I guess some people were really into it.
I'm not a millionaire. I can't play Civ 6. Okay, maybe one day I'm gonna be, oh, fancy rich boy over here. Oh, look at me, Jeff, and my Civ 6. Oh, yeah, it's okay. It's okay, Jeff. No, I can't judge people based off of their ability to play Civ 6. I also don't have the attention span to, like, play games that are that long. Wait, I'm playing Final Fantasy 14. What am I doing?
I never saw that kind of game as about being an attention span. I didn't ever sit down and say, I'm going to play this game for the next 12 hours. It was just like, I did a thing, and then I wanted to see the next thing. So okay. I was, I was always just like, well, in one more turn, I just got to see the next thing happening. Oh, and we got to Brown Mouse, or Hamster.
Oh my gosh, it's crying.
I think it's a hamster, actually.
Honestly, it seems to deal a lot of damage if it can get up close to you. A little bit terrifying. Yeah, for me, oh my gosh, memories of Civ 2, okay? I had a cousin named Hiram who came and lived with us for a summer, and let me tell you, the amount of time that boy spent sitting at our computer playing Civ 2, honestly, was probably better than him interacting with us because he was a bit of a spoiled brat. But he spent a lot of time playing Civ 2. Whereas me, I don't know, like, if somebody talks to me, I feel like I've lost all of whatever train of thought I had with the game, and I'm like, well, okay, it's time for me to do something else because somebody talked to me. Like, I see. Yeah, if I'm all alone, then that's not going to be a problem. I can go ahead and lose myself in a game. But if anybody else is around and wants to be social literally at all, it's not game time for me. It's time for me to be social. I like people.
Yeah, well, we're all a little different in that.
Yeah. Well, and it's also ADHD things. Yeah, let me, if I'm really enjoying it and I'm alone, I'm going to be able to do it. But if other people are around and I have to put in more than like 5 ounces of brain power, I'm sorry, Old Kentucky Home is just really grating on my nerves right now.
I wish there was a little bit more music and that the music was a little more fitting to the game.
Oh, wait,
but
are we still home on the range on the other one?
the songs last, I think, the entire level, generally. Maybe there's some that change when you get...
No, this is a different tune. Yeah.
You get halfway through, but it has no problem playing the same thing over and over again to you.
Oh, it's Yankee Doodle. Okay, whatever. I prefer the other one. Kentucky Home, baby!
You're not gonna get a lot of choices with music here.
Yeah. Can you imagine an era where you're like, oh my gosh, oh, I love that Old Kentucky Home. But they're the band, like the band's like, what should we play next? And you just yell out, Yankee Doodle, play Yankee Doodle Dandy, and the band's like, oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. They pull up, hey everybody, we're playing Yankee Doodle. Crowd cheers, Yankee Doodle Dandy, Yankee Doodle. You know, somebody sets the house on fire. Yankee Doodle, Yankee Doodle. Oh my gosh. To live in those days, Jeff.
Yeah.
And then the band's like, we're going to play Old Kentucky Home. And they're like, oh, that's so 1850s. Come on. Ugh. Actually, when was Old Kentucky Home? Little Brown Jug was at least the 1860s. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, at least as early as then. So we have
I was right about
players.
The 50s. The 1850s for Old Kentucky Home. I've lost my mind, Jeff. I don't even know anymore.
That's okay. Let me talk about the game a little bit.
Okay.
So we've had three of our players get to the same boss. Ogvision and Peachy Chan died pretty similar in time. Probably one of them got in a little bit more damage than the other, so I'm not sure who's ahead, but that would be the metric at this point. But Jumi could overtake both of them by doing well in this fight, but again, he has no continues and no more lives and almost no more health, so probably not going to get real far.
You're probably right. Darkness moving on to the next level. It's time for Home on the Range, everybody. Pull out your pillows. Because it is nap time, everybody. I am so tired.
That's understandable. There's a lot of Kuso happening today. Fortunately, I only have to focus on one thing, and that is Ant Game.
Yeah. No, I've got Kusogrand8, and then literally 15 minutes after the scheduled end of Kuso, I've got a meeting for another couple hours. So today's a long day, Jeff.
Yeah, sounds like it. I think I'm just going to take a nap later. I went to the farmer's market today, so that was a lot of excitement.
There's an art festival going on. Justin went on over there, but I have not. I'm gonna miss it. It's fine. I've got this. This is art.
This is definitely art. I actually like this art. I'm curious to see if any of the players are going to like this, because, you know, I woke up today and I did not choose evil. I thought about it, but that'll be for another day.
Okay, so this is not evil.
This is not evil. This is maybe a little frustrating or boring at times. Maybe you don't want to hear this music so much. Maybe you don't like the pace of the game. Maybe you find it a little monotonous. Maybe the controls are a little wonky.
Yeah,
Maybe the bosses take too much damage. But all that aside, it's pretty good.
honestly, there's a lot of charm. The enemy
Yes.
variety I like. Like, I don't fully understand all of the different attacks that we've got, but we've got bugs that charge you. You've got the wasp that flap their wings and charge you. You've got the giant mice. Like, I would say that, especially for the mid-90s, for like one person putting a game together, genuinely impressive. Like, fantastic job.
Absolutely.
That doesn't make it necessarily good per se, but it does allow me to excuse a lot of stuff. Like, as soon as I know that it's one person making a game, it can almost scar me for life, and I'll say thank you, you know? And this one, I'm not even scarred. No, maybe a tiny little wound, but no scars.
So we have a weird situation, which was that after everybody got to that mouse and or hamster and died, they all went back one level too far, I think. Because they should be back in the house with the gray and red tiles, like darkness is on.
I wonder what they entered into the DOS box as
I saw
the
everybody
command.
doing 3.
Well, in that case, it appears that they tried to do it correct. If they put 3 and it took them to 2, then pretty much everybody is on the same grounds. I would say that yeah.
Yeah, let me just take a moment to confer with the refs and see what we tell
Sounds
them
good.
to do.
Well, I will go ahead and let you do that. Everybody, we are on the 3rd of 4 matches today. We've got one more. Remember, the players are playing for 1 hour to try to make as much progress as they can. Whoever does takes the victory. The bottom 2 people for this match will be eliminated, so it's actually extremely important. If they want to stay in the tournament, if they want freedom and happiness in life, you know, they can get eliminated, and that's completely fine. Yeah, but if you don't want happiness in your life, then it's very important that you do well in Kusogrand8.
I don't know. Doing well in Kusogrand8 brings some people lots of unhappiness, because then there's more Kusogrand8.
Yeah, and honestly, for games that could hurt the audience, this one isn't one of those, you know? It might make them feel like happy thoughts about old American songs like Yankee Doodle and Home on the Range, and might be like, oh, some of these bugs are kind of cute. Yeah, especially the tubby bugs. I like the tubby bugs. Or maybe it'll make them think maybe we should have had different outlets in our world, you know? American outlets are kind of dumb looking, but they're just they're like pig noses, you know? We could have had pig noses instead of the horrified faces that we have in America.
That's true, I suppose. But we have one of those prongs for grounding, and that's important. Want to stay grounded.
Yeah, I guess grounding's kind of important, Jeff. Could just have a loose cable going, like, dragging on the ground, though. That might do it. Uh-oh! Jeff! The police! I heard them!
Oh yeah, well that's because my neighborhood.
Oh yeah. Yeah, at least
Honestly,
your
I'm
apartment's
surprised.
not on fire today.
That's why I do normally push to talk, so you don't hear that as frequently. But no gunshots today, so that's good news.
Oh, good. Macaroni, Yankee Doodle is a butt, Yankee Doodle dandy. Something about his, I don't know. He likes girls though. He gets really randy. Yeah, I think that's how it goes.
Sure.
It's been a while
I mean,
since I've listened to Yankee Doodle. I'm sorry. Mind the music and the something. I don't care. Why would he put a feather in his freaking hat, huh? Why would he call it macaroni? He should just put a feather in his hat and say, hey, it's a hat with a feather in it. That's what I call it. Puts a feather in his hat, calls it macaroni. What is the matter with you, Yankee Doodle, huh? I mean, he is a dandy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he a fop?
Dandies they're kind of silly.
Yeah, are dandies fops?
Yeah, I think that
Okay.
those terms are pretty synonymous.
Cool. Well, we're all learning about old-time insults. Macaroni equals being overly fancy? Yeah, tell that to my grandma who served me macaroni and cheese. Fine, no. And I'm talking about Kraft, okay? Kraft, you can think you're fancy, but you're just a pile of butts. Nobody likes you. Nobody ever, you're, even at Kraft's best, they are mid. That is a game over for Darkness, Little Brown Wago. Well, that is fine. Time for Darkness to get back into this, and Darkness is probably going to be a little bit confused that we're back to the old Kentucky home, but I don't care. Oh
Yeah,
my gosh, my nightmares.
The weird thing is, the way, you'd think that the levels were divided into, you beat a boss, and then that's the end of the level. But, when it transitions from one part to another, it counts those as different levels. So that's why people have been not counting correctly what level they're in. But everybody's been counting it incorrectly the same.
Yeah, and I think that they should keep doing what they're doing. Ow.
So yeah, ideally, if they had started on level 5 instead of going back to level 3, we might have gotten to see a little bit more of the game. But everybody did the exact same thing. So
Yeah, and considering how long ago it was that they asked about it, it's good for them to just keep doing what they're doing. If everybody did the exact same thing,
yeah, all 4 players did the exact same thing. So that seems fair as long as it's consistent. Consistency is more important than accuracy.
yeah. Punch the mouse in the gut. Yeah, thank goodness players all consistently. Well, I mean, whenever no, when it moved to the map, and move to the next level, that's when it appeared to be going to the next level, but I guess in the internal game's logic is not the same.
Yeah. I think maybe our presumption is that a level means something that ends with a boss. Or like...
Well, it would be when it goes to the map and shows you moving to a new location, but that doesn't happen between like every level here.
Yeah, like the levels have two... Like one square is actually 2 levels.
Yeah.
But at any rate, we have 5 minutes left and everybody's on the same level. It looks like darkness reset most recently, so they're still at the beginning part of it. And Jumi just game overed. It looks like both Peachy and Ogvision have some continues left, so it is possible we'll see a level clear from one of them.
Yeah, I'm confused though, because Jumi started back in the room with the cherries.
I guess Jumi just figured out to do level 5?
Peachy-chan is, well, everybody, just so you know, we do consult to make sure that everything is fair, because even though there can be weird, confusing things with games, we want to make sure that everything is fair, especially when people are getting eliminated. But at the same time, you know, there are games that have weird bugs, and I'm not talking about the visual bugs, but have some weird logic behind them. There are some games that flat out lie on how to actually play them, like in the manual for the first game. And I don't want to ban games because they're bad. This is a bad video game tournament. It's a bad video game tournament, and sometimes there are issues. But whenever things get to a point where it appears to be blatantly unfair to specific people and there's nothing that they can do about it, then that's something that we usually want to consult about. And we do sometimes give people a chance to have a rematch, depending on the situation. That's probably not going to be the case here, but that's something that we do like to keep in mind as a solution when there is a problem that we can't solve. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I said words. Look, I'm just saying I don't want to go to my old Kentucky home. It's old. It's probably fallen over by this point.
So I think our situation with Jumi right now is that although he restarted on level 4, whereas everybody else had been restarting on level 3, I don't think he's going to actually even make it to the boss in the next 2 minutes. So I don't think that's going to affect anything.
Okay.
That is, this attempt is not going to be any further than his previous one. So,
yeah,
it won't affect anything.
So right now, it appears that Ogvision is the one in the lead, making it to the boss and dealing about 90... Or it says boss green bar 90%. Never mind. I don't know if that means they dealt 90% damage or that 90% was left.
It's confusing because, like...
I'll let the refs
it goes through
decide.
all the yellow, and then it has to go through red. Like, there's 2 health bars for the enemy.
Yeah. Well, chat, I have no idea who's in the lead, and I have no idea who's going to win, but the refs know, and I will let them handle that. And I will chill here and watch, okay? And try to finish the coffee that I've been drinking for hours now. Welcome to my life, Jeff.
I am so glad we have refs to keep track of this, because keeping an eye on the health bars at the boss, there's no way I would have been able to do that.
Oh, yeah. Like, we have a lot of volunteers who are helping behind the scenes. Y'all, to have a stream that, like, regularly has, like, 16 players in a day, as well as 4 GMs, as well as multiple refs, 4 for each match, and to have it go fairly reliably. It's taken a long time to get to this point, and I am so glad it has, because it's made our lives so much easier. Thank you to all of the volunteers who have helped, as well as to the old Kentucky home. That is time! Let's get other music here, please. Yay, Gran Turismo. This is definitely different music. Oh my gosh. Well, let me take a look to see what the refs say, because I do not know who won or lost at this point, and I'll let them put it on the sheet.
The refs have screenshotted the health bars on the boss and are comparing those right now. See how many pixels.
Gotta measure them. Pull out those tip measures.
Yep.
Yeah, I really enjoy that I'm looking at the screenshots here. Oh, what a game. Honestly, though, again, for a game made by one person, I wouldn't say this is the most interesting thing, but it's kind of fun.
I enjoyed it, you know? I liked watching it. There were parts that were would have liked there to be a little more variety, but, what are you going to expect out of one person? There was a interview with him, and he said, this game is finished, but he considered this a prototype. He wanted to do something much, much bigger than this.
Yeah. There's one other thing. I'm going to bring this up specifically in the Game Masters chat, because it's something that we'll probably want to discuss. But that's for another time.
All right, so we should momentarily have confirmation of a winner so we can invite them over.
And it appears that Peachy-chan is our winner, getting the boss down to 40% green health left. So I will go ahead and invite Peachy. Jumi appears to be second, Ogvision third, and Darkness in fourth. Let me talk to Peachy-chan and see if she wants to come and chat. Yeah, honestly, I love this. This was a lot of fun. I like bugs as well. It's always exciting for me to see a game that I've never even heard of before, and this certainly fits that category. What a game! Horm, La Leyenda de un Insecto, and it looks like Peachy-chan is here. Hello there! Oh, wait. I need to leave Discord for about 3 seconds to fix it. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
When the range is still in my ears. Welcome back.
Yay! Peachy-chan, congratulations. You made it to the really big mouse and destroyed it.
I'm surprised because when I realized I went back a stage accidentally and replayed a stage for no reason, I was like, oh, it's over.
Everybody made the exact same error. And so it perfectly balanced out. So it's not even an error at that point.
Yeah, that was something that we were kind of panicking about, because it's okay, if we tell people later on, then that's going to be unfair to the people who put in the earlier stage. But everybody did it. It appeared to be consistent.
That's really funny.
I do think that it ended up being fine. But again, that's something that, like, if our refs need to discuss about there being an issue with that, they always can. But yeah, it appears that you were the victor here, and honestly, you did pretty well. So what do you think of the game? Horm, La Leyenda.
It is the slowest brawler I have ever played.
Oh no.
It is so sluggish, but like, it's also really charming. Like,
yeah,
it's clear that like maybe one or two people like worked on this game, and like it's got its own little charm, and I like it. But the health bars on the bosses were very unnecessary.
The bosses took so long to kill. Like, it was ridiculous. You do not need to have a boss fight that's long. I can't English anymore. I had bugs.
The final stage of the game is a boss rush of just the mice and brown mice. There's like 10 of them on the screen at the same time, and you have to fight all of them. It's crazy.
That's awful.
That's a nightmare, Jeff.
But
I mean,
there's actually 2 long plays of this on YouTube, and they're both under an hour to finish. So it is possible if you don't game over.
Wow, okay. I feel like matchstick strats were the way to go.
Oh yeah.
It was very easy to juggle enemies, like if you got them lined up and just kind of keep them in check. But like the hitboxes were kind of weird, because if a bug like got into your hitbox, you could very well be just kind of like stunned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The matchbox, or the matchstick was good. I think for fighting the mice, it technically might be a little bit faster if you, rather than knock them down, hit them a couple times and then let whatever timer is there run out so that the next time you hit them, they don't fall down. Because waiting for them to stand back up takes a very long time. I didn't see anybody use that strategy, though, so I don't know how feasible it is.
Yeah, it's definitely like not like the matchstick strats are the safer strats, I feel like. So if you want to go faster, it would probably be better to maybe grab them or just like punch them. But that also comes with the risk of like, especially with all of the ads showing up, it just like you can really get cornered.
Yeah, and you really don't want to get cornered. Unless you have the lives and the continues to burn through, in which case, sure, go ahead and play a little bit riskier. But if you are down to 0 continues left, don't take the risk. Take it a little bit slower, and it pays off, which you're the winner. So, obviously it paid off for you.
It did. I'm glad it did. I was a little worried I was taking too long.
Yeah. No, you didn't.
If you have that feeling, everybody else does as well. You just, since you're not watching them, you don't really know in a race setting. But
yeah, it's usually a good thing to assume that if it's taken a long time for you, it's taken a long time for everybody else. If something is hard for me, probably everybody else is struggling at least a little bit with it. Yeah, the bosses and just dealing with how long it takes to kill them and not dying to all of the ads was definitely one of the big challenges there. Well, so, yeah, by the way, from what we understood with the game, this is a game that came out in Spain in a magazine as part of the competition. So made by one person. And, he made it for free, as far as I'm aware, didn't get money for it, most likely. And honestly, it's pretty impressive for a single-person project. I'm very glad that it came, that people were able to rediscover it,
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun. Thank you, Jeff.
Aw.
Sure.
Well, sweet. Peachy-chan, are you streaming anything these days that people should know about? Have anything that you'd like to plug?
Nothing in particular. I just have my usual stream every Friday night around like 9:30 PST. I just play whatever I feel like. Lately I've been trying to get through Tears of the Kingdom, so
Sweet. That's one that I've made it to the end area, but I never actually finished. I need to do that.
No, yeah, it's been taking me a long while too. I'm only like halfway through perhaps, so
Well, sweet. Yeah, everybody feel free to go and join Peachy-chan with Tears of the Kingdom. Absolutely a fantastic game. Thank you for coming and playing, and Jeff, thank you for giving out this game. This was an absolute joy.
yes, thank you.
You're also welcome. I will see you all later.
All right,
Goodbye.
see you two later. Bye. Well, everybody, I'm going to run a quick ad because we've got one more match. I got to get up for a second, and we will be back with our final match of the day, not of the weekend, because we got tomorrow as well. See you in a couple minutes.